Alright, digital artists, so here we go. This is how we're going to make an Andy Warhol in Photoshop. So you begin by opening up Photoshop to a new file. Have your file set up at width around 7 inches, height around 7. Name this last name, first initial, and we'll just call it Warhol. Resolution should be about 150. As you know, 300 is for printing, 72 is for the internet, and because we don't know if we're going to put this on the internet or not, we don't know if we want to print this out or not, I think 150 is a pretty good happy medium. Then we'll say OK, and there's my canvas. I already have my image pre-selected and it's sitting over here. I'm just going to drag and drop that, and you'll notice that her head is cut off a little bit at the top, so I'm going to go ahead and scale this up a bit and scale that down and then apply this. So this image has imported as a smart object, so I need to rasterize that. I'm going to go to Layer, Rasterize, and as you should know, that converts this images from a smart objects to pixels that can be edited. I need to do that because my next step is going to be to take out the color. I'm going to go down to Hue Saturation, Image Adjustments, Hue Saturation, and I am just going to desaturate her. That's taking out the color. However, this is still a color file. I don't want to change the image to a black and white because then I'm going to lose all of my color channels. I'm going to need my color channels later. And I say OK. So I've got this nice black and white of Katy Perry. Lots of nice midtones. I'm going to do a Command J. As you know, now I have my backup image in case I make any mistakes, because that can happen in Photoshop. So I have my Katy Perry copy. That's going to be my active layer that I'm going to start manipulating, and I'm just going to turn off the visibility on my backup layer. My next step is to go to Image, Adjust, Levels, and I am going to adjust the levels on this image, meaning I want to get kind of a posterized effect on her, meaning just solid blacks and solid whites. And in order to do that, I'm going to move these sliders back and forth. It works best when they tend to be clustered towards the center, and I'm losing all of the midtones. So you'll notice this is getting blown out up here on her shirt and on her shirt over here, but that's okay because this is the effect that we want. I'm trying to focus in on her eyes. I don't want her eyes to go too light or too dark. So this is a happy medium right here, and I'm going to OK that out. Now, Andy Warhol's art was pretty messy, so I'm not going to worry too much about staying in lines or anything like that, but if I need to know where the shirt begins and where her shirt ends as I'm painting in, I can always go back to my original image for reference. Now the next step is very important. Every time we add color to this image, we have to add a new layer. New layer, new color. Just keep telling yourself that. New layer, new color, new color, new layer. So I'm going to call this first layer, I think I'll call it shirt, because this layer is going to have her shirt color on it. Let's just start off with I guess blue. It doesn't really matter because these colors are going to change later on. So as we paint these in, you get the brush, make sure the hardness is all the way up. And the size, well, we can adjust the size of the brush on the fly by using your open and close brackets. And then you'll start coloring this in. Now as you start coloring this in, you'll notice it's just covering up her shirt. It looks like a cartoon, right? It's just opaquing out her shirt, all the lines, and this looks really bad, right? Well, you're going to go under the blending mode in the layers window, and you are going to go to a setting called multiply. It's about the fourth one down. And when we set it at multiply, you'll notice that the blacks come in very nicely. That is really cool because it's going to allow us to color this in pretty quickly, and we don't have to worry about lines and stuff like that. So we can just paint this in pretty easily, and you can adjust the size of your brush on the fly. Like I said, right bracket opens up the tip and left bracket closes up the tip of the brush like that. Like I said, Andy Warhol's style was pretty messy, so you don't need to worry about being too careful as you painting your artwork. We're also going to wind up duplicating this image several times, so everything you do is going to get smaller in the final piece of art. So that's her shirt, and again, remember what I said? New layer for each new color. This layer I think I'll call bubblegum, and I'll say okay. Again, set it at multiply. You can go over here, and again, it doesn't really matter what color we make it, but I guess I'll go ahead and give her purple bubblegum, and I'll color that in purple. And I think at this point, I think you're getting the hang of this. I'll do one more color and then I'm going to speed this video up. So again, we go new layer. For this one, I'll say, yes, I'll do her skin at this point. Say okay. Setting should be at multiply. And she's going to get some really wild skin tones later on, so I don't need to get too accurate with this, but I'll pick something that semi-realistic. But again, she's going to be turning green and purple and all these crazy colors, so we don't have to be super accurate. Next step, we've got to merge all these layers together, but we want to keep our background layer separate because our canvas size is going to get larger. So we're going to take all of our colored layers. This is perfect, beautiful, nothing's going to change on it. And I'm going to merge these layers together. So you select them all, hold down your shift key, select them all till they're all blue. This backup layer, we don't need that. So you don't need to select that layer. Go to layer, merge layers. There you go. So now that layer is all merged together. I can turn it on and off. I can't edit my colors anymore though, because now they're all on the same layer. Next thing I need to do, I go to the background layer. I need to make my canvas larger. So I go to image, canvas size. I'm going to take this height and the width and I'm going to multiply it by 2. So 7 times 2 is 14. And height also goes to 14. I want my image of Katy Perry to be oriented to the lower left-hand corner. So make sure you select that lower left-hand corner. So when this image gets scaled up, it is going to go to the upper right and the top. And there she is in the lower left-hand corner. I think I'll go ahead and delete this backup image of Katy, delete layer, just to get that out of the way. All right, so from this point, I am going to go to my original layer. I need to duplicate this 8 times, so I'm going to do a Command J. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you'll notice it's made 8 copies of the original image, and they're layered on top of each other. So it looks like there's nothing there, but
I can select the first layer and slide it out. Go to the next layer down, slide that one out, and you're going to spread these out, kind of tile them out so that there's no white gaps in between. 1, 2, 3, and then go to the next layer, slide that one out, and they should kind of snap into place. If you're holding down the Shift key, they should kind of snap into place. Yeah, you don't really need to hold the Shift key down and it'll still work. And just drag and drop them into position. Keep going back to the original layer to drag out another one, and just spread these all out. And like I said, make sure that there's no white gaps in between each image so that it looks like that. Now we're going to adjust the color on each of these, and to do that you go to Image, Adjustments, Hue Saturation, and for each one of these panels adjust the hue on each one. Don't mess with any of the other settings. It's just Image, Adjustment, Hue Saturation, and just adjust the hue. Hue Saturation, and again I'm probably going to speed the video up at this point because you probably get the idea. And there you go. So every single panel is a different color. It's pretty well mixed. At that point you just go to Image, Layer, Flatten Image, and there you go. Save this as a JPEG and go ahead and turn it into Dropbox, and there, you finished your Andy Warhol tribute in Photoshop. How to create an Andy Warhol in Photoshop. Hope you guys had a great time learning that, and I will see you guys in the next tutorial.